everybody. And whoop, there we go. Okay.
You're good,
So here
Phil.
we go. Yeah, so I'm really enthused to be here with everyone. And, this is also great time of the day that we can come together. It's keeping the morning routine going, that momentum. And when we walk away from here, what is each of you, when you come, what's in your heart? What is your intention to walk away? Is your intention to serve? Is the intention to receive something? Because the more we do share and the more we will receive and walk away from here with a wonderful time. And I think that's what the real purpose of the mastermind is, to set the tone of what is the mastermind for those who may not be familiar. I just thought I'd share a little bit from the book, and each of you probably has a copy of the book as a PDF or the action worksheet. And to look at that, so after this is done, continue studying in this principle for the whole week, and something that's going to create insights that weren't there earlier. And so the Mastermind Alliances, Napoleon Hill talks about, basically he was talking that no one can achieve anything of significance on their own. So how do we have that permanent success and start building it? This second powerful principle, once we have our definition of purpose, the mastermind underscores the importance of the association with other people using a pool of talents and knowledge to gain success. This is the hub of all of this philosophy, of all the 17 principles that comes into this mastermind. This is where we start to take action by showing up, being in spirit and in harmony with each other, and individually and as a group. We align with the purpose of ourselves and the purpose of the group. So every group mastermind has its own definite purpose. Why is this mastermind group here? What will we be developing? I've got an amazing mastermind of my fellow coaches that we get together, and I have a story mentor here too. We have a mastermind and really helping to get messages out. So here's a great definition: is that it's an alliance of two or more people working in harmony with positive mental attitude. Remember, we can always choose positive or negative. Choosing the positive keeps us going forward in a way that we want to serve. For the attainment of a definite end, two or more people working in harmony, in perfect harmony, with a positive mental attitude, and yet there's very much more than meets the ear and eye. When you think of something, anytime we have this challenge, if we can bring it to a group of people that we can trust, we can find an answer, because there's always an answer to those challenges we face. The question is, are we just going to sit alone and hope that things are better, wishing it outside of ourselves, or will we take action? So, as the mastermind has its purpose, we have our purpose. There's a strange truth: when we come together, we create this third mind, this unseen mind, where we ignite our imagination and our thinking, because this, you could call it connection to infinite intelligence, we can call it God, we can call it something outside of ourselves, starts, and we start to see clarity. We have a more clear vision, a powerful vision. We ignite that desire within us when we can all show up to serve. If we show up to just get, we're going to fall short, and we'll have some sorts of success, but it won't match what we can do together as a group. Think in your personal lives: when you make a decision for that person, that spouse, when you're looking at your family, when you're looking at lifestyle, when you're looking at the things that you enjoy doing, when you see the dreams of that next generation and children, for those who have children. Perhaps you don't have children, you have nieces and nephews. Other than our personal life and our business and in our health, when we start looking at these things, perhaps in sports, those are all examples of masterminds, people who are coming together It takes offense and defense in football or soccer or hockey and all the different sports that are out there. And it takes someone who's leading those strategies together and igniting ideas. What is it that we can do so that together, as we say in the coast, all ships rise or fall with the tide. So how do we create that tide? It gives us a momentum for life. And the idea too is that this positive win-win-win. It's that positive mental attitude. There is no losing. There's no zero-sum game. With abundance and a positive mental attitude, we can achieve everything and more. It's just our thinking happens to be limited right now to wherever it is. We have infinite potential. We have 100x, 1000x from the highest point where they're thinking right now. How will we do that? The mastermind is a powerful principle. So to start us in this conversation, I'd love to hear from everybody here just to chime in. Think of it. When is one thing that you've already achieved that you know you benefit because you had a group of one other, three others, or even 20 other people in with you? You probably didn't call it a mastermind. You probably called it a study group, or you probably had a group of colleagues, or you had a probably group of friends or teammates. Chime in and share what is one thing in your life that you've achieved and you know it came from the mastermind.
Don't be shy, guys.
Anybody?
Raise your hands.
Step right up. Brad.
Okay.
Bradford, is it Bradford or Brad? How do you?
It's Bradford, but you can call me either. It's fine.
Okay.
Yep. Uh, so I can't help but share what happened last week, just because there wasn't any like huge hit, like nothing in particular that took place that that I could identify that really sparked my curiosity, ambition. I left the mastermind though just really energized from it. So I started analyzing why. And I shared with Frank that, so much so that I reached out one of the other members as part of the group. So I was ambitious. I needed to talk to somebody else about it, and I studied it with the help of studying, the chapter that we were working on last week, and basically came to determine it was harmony. I had experienced harmony, and I've never necessarily uh, you know, looked into harmony before, or whatever, but that's what it boiled down to. And it was really something cool. So I could say, just from the very first meeting, I had an opportunity to experience it. So
Thank you. That's very powerful. And yeah, those dopamine hits, because we get this little spark that comes to us, that spark of desire, right? It just really keeps us going. However, we also have to have the persistence too, because when that dopamine hit doesn't come right away, this is where the mastermind will come in and be your support, because with the emotional support, it keeps us going, the resilience, so we keep on keeping on, as with persistence. That's another principle we can get into at another time. But yeah, yes. Thank you so much for sharing that, Brett. And I see in my computer, Paul has your hand up.
Yes, just on the
Oh, you disappeared.
page
Where'd you
18,
go? There you go. Okay.
chapter 4, chapter 4, the fourth factor. To be effective, a mastermind alliance must be active. Uh, I had a great experience with that one time. I was selling a product which was like an MLM, and we got into the top 10 in the world, and we won a cruise. No way could I have done it on my own or any of the other guys. There was three of us, and we strategized and we made it possible. So that's proof. Per a mastermind, and then I didn't even know about Napoleon Hill or a mastermind.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Paul. And the active part is what's really key. And that's why I really, for future meetings, I encourage all of you who are not on the camera today, that's a major part of it, being able to connect, being able to see each other, being able to talk. So I ask and challenge everybody in the room to attend the mastermind, be committed, make the time. Multitasking does not exist. You can't be, I know sometimes life comes up and you would just got to listen in, and I get that. That's not a judgment. It's just we need to be committed to each other, to be engaged and to be active and to communicate and to do what we're doing right now, raise our hands, talk and share. And just briefly, guys, a mastermind, I reflect on my time in the Marine Corps. We went from, like company level to battalion level to platoon level to squad level to fire team level. So we're talking like at the very smallest, there were 5 Marines organizing, training together, right? Supporting each other, pushing each other, and so the mastermind's nothing magical. But the thing is that men especially tend not to ask for help. And that's a really, really sad thing to say. But we were raised, at least I was raised, just get it done. You do it on your own. Don't worry about it. Don't ask for help. Don't complain. Don't whine. Just get after it. And okay, we can do that in some cases, but we need each other. We need to support. We need to share. When we're having problems and we're having pain, we need to let somebody else know so that we know we've got something to lean on. And by the way, I had a fantastic call with one of our members yesterday. I got to know him so much better. He got to know me so much better. I know Brad said he had shared right after the meeting last week, got together with another member in the group. That's what's going to make this mastermind work. So when Paul says we need to be active, yeah, that's what we mean. It's not just 1 hour on Tuesdays. It's connected through life, period, whatever that looks like, right? Nick, I see your hand up. Go for it, brother. Sorry, Phil. Didn't mean to jump in on you.
It's all
Hey,
fun. We're all here collaborating together, my friend.
yeah, man, guys, I miss y'all so much. It's been a while, right? I've just been silent, so just working in silence. Anyhow, Mastermind Alliance, like wow. So it took me a while to really be able to take a grasp on the Mastermind Alliance. And Napoleon Hill says that it is the second key to the master key, I believe. That's what he says. Um, in all every chapter in Think and Grow Rich, for instance, it all has everything running together. Like the desire, the faith, the autosuggestion, the imagination. Like what Napoleon Hill tells us in chapter 4, autosuggestion, to always go back and read a specific 4 steps to create your mastermind. Also in imagination, Napoleon Hill talks about a, uh, uh, um, a creative imagination and a synthetic imagination.
Yeah.
The synthetic imagination is one where we have experience and education. We can put plans together. The creative imagination is where it's in our mind. That's when our mind starts thinking and believing and working. So Napoleon Hill states that that there's supposed to be an in-person, like we are right now, mastermind group that works in perfect harmony towards one specific objective. But also the Mastermind Alliance, he says that work for his invincible guides.
Yeah.
That he would go for a period of time. He had where he would go visit them every night, and it was through his imagination. So in the chapter transmutant sexual transmutation, it talks a lot about creative imagination. And I might be going wrong. I mean, I might just be going off, but this is just that's coming to me. Is I believe that the more we live eternally, like like that's what provides out. So the Mastermind Alliance is powerful here as well, but also the imagination Mastermind Alliance. Does that make sense to someone, to anyone there? Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Nick. It's really the idea that what is success, right? As Earl Nightingale defines that progressive realization towards a worthy ideal. And Napoleon Hill talks about the idea that no one achieves anything without power. What is power? It isn't just knowledge, because knowledge is just sitting around in our brain, right? So you can pass a test. That doesn't achieve anything. Frank had said earlier, it's active, and that's why coming together and being active as often people can, we're forming, we're this clay, and we're tapping into what was it that we couldn't think of. And it's like it's having a ultimate battery pack. You can imagine, you can have your D batteries, you can have your uh say you had, like, I don't know, 5 Teslas, the battery that's in there, and you bring that together, but then you even magnify that 1,000x, right? That's what the mastermind does, because there's no limits. When we connect into the power of what is unseen, we can go a lot deeper down the track of, we've got a wonderful Dan Matthews, a physics person, and Gary is our engineer here. There's so many powers in the universe that in science, right? We don't see 99.9% of everything there is, we don't see. The mastermind is how we're grouped together because we're in harmony. We get to see something. Right now, think, what is that challenge that's in front of you? Is it contacting that person who's going to introduce me to the other source that I need? Or what is it challenging your life? Is it towards my health? Am I taking that step, that action to get the health that I need to have the person? One time in my life, I had this woman I was really attracted to, and I was trying to find a mastermind. Who is this inner circle of this person to drop hints and seeds so that she would become smarter decision to spend more time with me, right? So a mastermind can work in all different areas of life. I see my fellow hockey fan here, Michael Bridgman. When we have group of 5 people who are on the ice at one time, you connect with each other, and we each have a sequence that we're going to do. And when it comes off, that's great. When it doesn't come off, we have to pull back and say, okay, it didn't work yet. We can say, hey, we can take an alternative stab at it. And so we just keep on.
Phil, I'm a Vancouver Canucks fan. We haven't had that type of harmony in at least 15 years, my friend.
Oh, my friend, but Vancouver has given the Bruins here in Boston some phenomenal talent too.
Exactly.
We have fun with this. See, that's the whole idea. We're coming in fun. Okay, others involved in this conversation. Rob, your hand's been up, and come on in.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you, Frank, for inviting me to this. I mean, this is just divine timing, and just to show you an example, just met Nick. Nick's from Oklahoma City. I'm just now displaced to Oklahoma City. My question is, who the heck is from Oklahoma City? And who knew I was going to meet Nick this morning? So it's going to be a great thing there. And Nick, I got to comment on what you said. What's inside shines outside. So what's your who you are inside, that mindset of being happy, being positive, being focused, being determined, having a purpose, that just shines. I've been on this new journey, gents, where that's just been shining like a floodlight, and just it's been attracting some of these different personalities that has just built this business, and it's just growing and growing and growing. I can't wait to share more. But 2 words I'd like to share in this group, and I think they're scary words for men to speak about, especially in today's age. And it goes to you, Frank, and what you were talking about, being vulnerable. We're men, Roger that, but we're also humans, and it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to, do all these things because they're human things. And that's why God had Jesus come down and die on the cross to forgive us for all these things that we feel sometimes bad, sometimes good, sometimes a little bit out of our control. But having that mindset, we have a framework of how to manage all that as men, and being able to manage all that is being vulnerable internally and externally, to be able to identify the things where, okay, I need to work on this, I need to work on that. Here's a problem, I need to address this, I need to fix this. It's like listening to an engine, a hot rod engine. You really don't have gauges that you can leak. You just got to listen and feel, and then execute and fix and then repeat. Another word I'd like to mention in this group, and and I'm glad it's a men's group because I think this word is a little scary sometimes in different venues. And I'll be honest, I think when you say this word with a lot of women, in the room, it doesn't really settle as well as it would settle with men. And I'll say that word is discipline. So discipline prior to a mindset. And what does discipline mean internally? I think as a man. As a man, discipline means, okay, I'm going to have a positive mindset. I'm going to wake up today. Today's going to be great. And I'm going to go through that day, no matter what the challenge is. If I'm dealing with customer service, which is aggravating for me, if I'm in traffic, anything that, I'm going to have the discipline to have the mindset to go through this day. It's like motivation. So motivation, that's great. It's awesome. Stay motivated. How do you get motivated? Have the discipline to get motivated. Don't make it a song. Don't make it a moment. Don't make it an image. Just make it, I choose to be disciplined enough to be motivated to go do this thing. If it's work out in the morning, if it's start a business, if it's to get sober, whatever the case may be. I think as men, it's really important that we start with discipline. And I don't think that in our culture today in society, I don't think that's really said a lot. It's more of a shift left, shift right, kind of fit it where it's comfortable. Well, I think as men, start with discipline and success will follow in every other aspect of life. That's my 2 cents.
I love that,
love it.
Rob. Yeah.
I love it. And if you didn't see, Michael Bridgman was up there. He's got his big poster on the wall, discipline with the lion. I mean, come
I
on.
love
There
that.
it is.
Yeah.
He goes into his cave and that's what he looks at.
What's
That's
it-
awesome.
What's
Yeah,
it say
it-
under discipline, Michael?
Speak again, Gary.
Yeah, what's it say underneath discipline on the poster?
Gotta find the unmute button. I'm very undisciplined. I can't find it. It says the ability to execute regardless of how you feel.
There you go.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Did you have your hand up, Michael, too, or was that?
Yeah, I do. There's a speaking of the feeling thing, there's a little quick saying that I love that the facts don't care about your feelings. And I mean, the fact is, I've been in lots of really cool masterminds in my life. They have up leveled my life a number of different times, and they come in. I have found in my personal experience, they come into life at stages where they fit quite often. Now, I think that's partly because you make it fit. I guess partly just because universe is handing you what you need as you need it, like a locomotive taking on water as it moves across, the country. It gets what it needs when it needs it. If you filled that locomotive train with enough water that it needed to cross from New York City to Los Angeles, it would never move. It's got to get the water as it needs it. I think sometimes, like air, mastermind sessions show up. Groups of people show up in your life when you need them. And they serve a very, very effective purpose at helping you level up. And there's a concept that I wanted to touch on when it comes to masterminds, because they've really helped me, especially in my business life, really make some big differences. And it's this idea that there's a lonely road to walk. And as you level up in life, I have found my own personal experience here, speaking from there, that as you leave and transition from the friends or the group that you were in, where you were comfortable, that really nice chair that you've had your butt in for a certain amount of time, and you move to the next one where there's going to be another group of people, there's going to be another chair you'll eventually wiggle into and find comfortable, right? There's a lonely road there. That journey is made by you and you alone, right? And nobody else can walk it. It is entirely up to you. And the lonely road has so many stages of danger, so many stages where you can fall backwards to the chair that you found comfortable last year, so many ways that you can fall through the trap door and suddenly wind up in the exact same place that you've always been. We all know this. We've all experienced the perpetual nature of what it is to be Nick, what it is to be Luis, what it is to be Bradford, what it is to be Frank, right? There's a circle that we keep traveling. It's very well worn. We're super comfortable in it. But the fact is, to get to the next level, we quite often need to get out of that damn circle. And the journey to get out of that circle is a lonely one. And masterminds can be an incredible ally in that process. And in fact, maybe this is the one that actually is that next level that you have been looking for, that next group of people that don't put up with your shit from before. Right? That say, no, 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 that was you in 2025. That's not 2026 version of Michael. That's nonsense. You say that one more time, we're kicking you out of the room. Right? Because that level of accountability is one of the reasons that masterminds exist. It's going, no, 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 no. You can convince yourself of anything you want, but the rest of us here, the other 13 of us know exactly that you said that last week, and it's nonsense. So yeah, either step up, step out. What's your choice?
Man,
Love that. I love that.
thank-
It's like I love this quote that always come with me as I was studying with Bob Proctor from Martin Root. You have to do it, the work alone, and you cannot do it by yourself. Yet we're all on a journey on our own. And who is the team that you surround yourself with? The environment is so crucial. The energy of the environment together is really what brings us all to achieve at higher levels, whatever that might be. And be honest, having the integrity, when we're FOS, I guess we can say, because this is recorded, have the integrity to call someone out on it and call yourself out on it too, because we don't have the answers. We have a sense of what we think we might, but we're all here together, so we get answers. And just that next step, it's like you don't have to see that whole staircase, the whole road, the lights in a car will shine so far, but we keep on moving forward because it'll all be for us in time as we need it, when we believe and have faith and we're aligned with that purpose. That's why the starting point last week of the purpose is so critical. Leroy, I see your hand up.
Hello. Yeah, I just kind of echo Michael there. I was kind of thinking down the same lines. I've had different masterminds and they've brought me to where I'm at, but it can get so to where you can become comfortable, and if you do that, you don't really grow in the comfort zone. And so I see this group as being that next level of, commitment and growth to I know that when I first started on this journey, I took a 1 year mentorship at PGI, and I never talked. I had my camera on most of the time, but I never talked. And so I know it's changed quite a bit. I discovered I have a voice. It's I thought I didn't. I thought nobody would listen to me. So, and it's not about listening to me as do what I say, but because that's how my wife thought, looked at me. And Rob talked about discipline. Most people don't like that. And so she doesn't either like that word, but I've learned to, you know, change the way I speak to her that actually, uh, you know, creates a better environment for me, because it's not about controlling others. It's about disciplining ourselves to what we want, and then our surroundings start conforming to that. So that's what I've learned through this.
Wasn't that powerful what you just said? Could you repeat that last sentence? Were you in spirit, or was it something that you?
When we change our own, or we discipline ourselves, uh, then the world around us conforms to that. Is that what you heard?
Yeah, that's what hit me is that, when we all have perspective, we all have a perception. And the truth is, it's like a fingerprint. Every single 9 billion people have their own perception. But the problem is that we're trying to force another person to have the same perspective, and that doesn't happen. The beauty of the
Yeah.
mastermind is we come and we meld that together with discipline. The discipline is and we're using the will to focus. We're focusing on what is our definite chief aim. Where are we going? You know, I love how Bob Proctor would always say, discipline is giving yourself a command and doing it. That sounds easy, doesn't it? It's just words. The truth hard work, the hard work of life is remaining disciplined. That's the hard work. The hard work isn't 100 hours a week. It's remaining disciplined. That's where the work is. It's internal. It's not external. And then the external will show us as well. We get into other laws, but without going too far down the rabbit hole, yeah, that we start to see because we're thinking differently, we're showing up differently, and we just have that higher elevated perception. I love the idea of, and this was shared within if I might have the freedom to share, Frank, regarding like the purpose of this mastermind as we develop ourselves. You know, we kind of were coming up with different things to say, building disciplined men of purpose who take responsibility, acting with intention to serve others. I love that. It really, are we doing that? And how are we doing that? What are the steps we're doing? Who are we accountable with? So yeah, let's continue on with this conversation. Luis, my friend.
Good morning, y'all, guys. Yes, and I like always to take things to the higher level, and it's self-discipline. It's not just discipline, because as a community we can do it. But what are you doing when you're by yourself? You just said it, Phil, right? What is that? What is when you're like that internal dialogue, that internal conversation? Yeah, later. Oh, you know what? No, I said I was going to do it. I'm going to do it. Period. And that's I love the ambivalence, right? That the two parts of this that you guys been mentioning. The road, you have to walk it, but and it's gonna be freaking times when things are not gonna be easy. But the thing is, you don't have to walk it by yourself all the time. You have, it's like having kids, right? We have to let them make mistakes, otherwise they're not gonna grow. So it's the same thing with us. But the thing is also, and I'm gonna go back to the beginning of when we were saying this about being vulnerable. How do we talk to each other? I mean, to ourselves, right? We are our hardest critics out there. So that, and that's why I have you guys. So every time, like last week, I walked out of this session like like I was walking on cloud nine. I was just feeling more confident, more secure, and also what I was going to go in the beginning with self-discipline. Having self-discipline is going to give you something that is, in the words of my friend Patricia Fish, another coach from NHI, she said, confidence is sexy. When you are confident, when you're a confident man, you are on the other side of the fence. You make decisions better. You're more attractive, not just to whomever you want to be attracted to on the romantic level, but to your audience, the people that you can help, the people that you can serve. Because who wants, and Napoleon says it, right? S- uh, ah, organized planning,
Mm,
the characteristics of a leader, right? Who's gonna follow a weak leader? Someone that is doubting himself or herself all the time. So that's where I'm going. We self-discipline is going to give you confidence.
mm.
And thank you guys for allowing us to be here. And just to say it, I'm going to give a little quick example, and then I'm going to let Rob go. Last week, I told my kickboxing parents, I teach martial arts, so my kickboxing class is for basically parents. I don't have guys just trying to go and get in the ring and knock people out. I can care less. That's gone in my life. I can do it with people if they want to. But right now I'm getting my parents involved at the karate school. So we're training together, doing all this. And I said, hey, who's ready to start 2026 the best way? And we're gonna start a 3-day fasting. And they were like, oh, and last night, one of my parents reminded me, hey, I hope you're enjoying your coffee. I was drinking a coffee because we start tomorrow, right? And I was like, oh shit, yes, that's right. We start the 3 fasting tomorrow. So I started today. And I just got another parent that just texted me a little earlier. Said, hey, have we started today? Yes, we're starting today. So I started my 3 day fasting today. But I said I was gonna do it, right? And I needed a community, a mastermind group encouraging me. So now it's easier for me to do it because I have peers doing it with me. And that's the beauty of this mastermind or in any mastermind. But this one, so hold me accountable. I'll send you some pictures. And if you want to do it, join me.
Love that, Luis. You know, it's in a little bit of what you're saying was striking me is that Earl Nightingale talks about when we come to a strange point where we think others can achieve more than they can and we can achieve less, where we need is a discipline and a confidence. Self-confidence formula is powerful. And it's something that really, we also have to have integrity. So it's win, win, win. It's about collaboration. It's not about getting competing to get a better result than other people. It's about how can we think differently, and the mastermind does this for us. It gives us that confidence. It gives us accountability. It gives us that edge that keeps us moving, and that unseen energy. Wow, it's powerful. Rob, come on in, and then we have Frank and Nick.
Yeah, Phil, thank you. And I'm glad you mentioned that this is being recorded because I have to backtrack a little bit. The one woman that I know that is not afraid, or the word does not make her feel uncomfortable, the discipline word does not make her feel uncomfortable, is Cleona. So when I met Cleona, I'm retired military 27 years, and I met Cleona. We did a phone interview about 2 years ago, and I was in bad shape. I was full blown alcoholic. Had a lot of bad stuff going on. A friend referred me to NHI, and it started me on this journey. Truly, but I met Cleona first, and I told Cleona she was kind of. I told her my story, and we had about a good 2 hour conversation, and she was abbreviating colorful metaphors. And I said, Cleona, look, I've been in the military for 20. I just got out. Colorful metaphors resonate with my mind. They work on me. So just don't hold back. She closed the door to the octagon and tore me the filter was off. So, full disclosure, Cleona is not bothered by that word. But I would say, a group like this and the power of it, the way I look at group like this, and coming to these sessions and being involved and participating, it's like a solar panel. And the sun's shining on the solar panel, and energy is going into that battery pack that's charging that pack, and you move on and go with your battery pack and do great things. That's what this group does here. And you said it, Louis. You walk away feeling great. You're getting charged. We're getting charged from each other. There's that unseen energy. There's that frequency that's happening right now that each one of us will walk away today feeling a little charged because our solar panel got hit by the energy from each other, and we get to take that with us. So thank you, Frank, again for this group.
Love that, Rob. Frank, hop on.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Hey, this is fantastic, and I love not being the leader in the group right now. And the beauty of this, as I'm sitting here listening and talking about discipline and commitment, the things that go on in my mind are, I oftentimes say about our society right now, what we're missing right now is two things: leadership and respect.
Yeah.
And I see 13 men in this room that, in my mind, are leaders. And one of my ulterior motives for getting this thing started, first off, so the 17 Club is a variation of something that Napoleon Hill began, or was W. Clement Stone and Napoleon Hill were together in the 1960s, and they were traveling the country, preaching the philosophy of the science of success. And they started a group called the 13 Club. And there's not a lot out there about the 13 Club, but there is some, and I found some. I actually talked to Napoleon Hill's, I think it's his great grandson, or his grandson, who's the trustee at the foundation, and the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and he told me a little bit about it. Then I did a little bit of research, and I said, well, he picked 13 because there were 13 principles in the book Think and Grow Rich. And I picked 17 because over time, the 17 principles came together. And no one else was using the 17 Club. So I've grabbed it. I've created a logo. I've got a business card that's coming right now, the 17 Club. And my vision is the people who take part in this mastermind begin their own 17 clubs in their own communities, right? Why? Because we're leaders and the world is looking for leaders. My perspective, my opinion only, it appears that men have kind of lost that leadership position, that leadership drive. So, as we walk away from this mastermind recharged because of this hour that we spend together, I'm going to walk away and say, okay, how can I get this out to somebody else? How can I get this out to the world? How can I get this out to my community? I live in the villages in Florida, which is, kind of like a retirement community, 55 and older. And, they call it Disneyland for aging adults, but this community needs it too. So I challenge you to take a look at it and say, hey guys, how can I take the lessons that we're learning here? The philosophy is what we're using as a foundation. The lessons that we're learning here, how can we share that and help someone else? So I just want to share that 17 Club. The vision is we are leaders and we're going to lead our communities based on a philosophy of the science of success. So I'll pass it
Love
on
that.
today. Thanks.
Love that, Frank. Zachary, calling Zachary first, because it's good to have some people who haven't been active. And if you haven't been active yet, I'd like to encourage you to step in and get involved in the conversation. What is an insight that's coming through your mind now? Or what is a question that you have? Or get involved in the dialogue, because we have to really, to get the benefit when we share together, we all grow together. As we grow, that is just phenomenal. So yeah, Zachary.
Hey everybody, hope all is well. So I wanted to just kind of touch on, Frank had mentioned something earlier about it's hard for men to ask for help, and I think that culturally, from my perspective and my experiences, it boils down to like weakness, which I don't think asking for help or trying to I would reframe it as working towards collaboration, not asking for help, and I think that in society, again, this is just from my own perspective and what I've seen, men don't want to look weak. So if it's hey man, I'm not going to ask for help, I'm good, type of energy, when in reality that's like self-abandoning. Hey, I'm capable of so much more, and it's not weak to collaborate and work together. As a matter of fact, that's a skill, and just like any skill, it's similar to a muscle, and if you're going to utilize that muscle, it will grow stronger and you will become better at working together with others and getting benefits out of the work that you do with one another. So that was just something. Also, I wanted to point out that I can't think of any point in time when I was a part of a mastermind environment at all. I'm 34 and I have been kind of just doing it on my own. And not to say that I haven't been a part of a group where I wouldn't have accomplished something had I not been a part of it. It's just not something that's really shining in my mind now. But I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for all of your energy and your time. And yeah, so that's just where my mind kind of went to with all of that.
Hey, great. Thank you so much. That's so powerful. Hearing you say it was a group, and there's a big distinction between groupthink and a mastermind. And groupthink really people are just regurgitating what others have said or one person wrote, and they're not really engaging their own mind and they're not thinking. Thinking is a powerful place to be, and the mastermind, we're all thinking, tapping into how we're thinking, and uh, keep an open mind too. That's one of the riches that Napoleon Hill talks about, is an open mind in all subjects, not selective subjects. And groupthink can really be a detriment, where mastermind is inspired thinking individually, inspired thinking as a group. That, because that power, the energy is more powerful. Thank you so much for sharing, Nick, my friend.
Yes. Man, great conversation, guys. Going back from what a thing that Louise mentioned, like about discipline, and what discipline does to us, to men, right? Discipline creates it creates structure, it creates confidence, it gives us confidence in ourselves. I've been going through a lot of self-discipline myself, and it's just showing up each day. Like I believe maybe it was Michael that said that really, really impressed me. Like the emotions don't matter. Like the emotions are going to be there, but if we have a process in our day, like right here on my desk, I have blocked time, so I don't have to think about what I'm doing. I can leave all of my emotions and just do it, but I'm showing up day after day. Confidence. Napoleon Hill says, and I'm big about confidence. Napoleon Hill says that, isn't it funny that when an individual is walking with his head tall, literally, like everywhere he goes, he has a good walk, a confident walk, the way he speaks, the way he smiles, the way he interacts. People literally will get out of his way to let him pass. Once we know what we are doing, what we are going for, literally people will open doors for us or move out of the way. And this is with the Mastermind Alliance, right? Like we are here for a purpose. We come here for a purpose. And like it just builds us up. Definitely a good vibe, good frequency to be on. So thanks for letting me share, guys.
Love that. It's so powerful too that yeah, it's like, how do you move the mountain, right? It's about coming together. That energy will do it. And I think that's why it comes down to having alignment of values, the values of the people in your mastermind. What is the integrity? You know, is it someone who's living in faith or fear too? Because there's groups that will live in fear, and as a fear, they'll try to shut down other people. They'll try to control other people, as opposed to releasing the inner connection that people have and doing some good work. Um, the leadership, like in sports, Tom Brady was a great leader in the football team, and you're losing 28-3 and you're in the fourth quarter. Hey, hold my beer. We've got this, because he had the confidence. And the other team knew that he had the confidence too, right? And he was able to achieve something special. I mean, there's so many different stories that you can all think of in your life that are like that, where the odds were against people, yet they did it. Whether it's climbing Mount Everest or whatever it happens to be, it's like living in the place where your dreams are. Like it doesn't have to be special; it has to be special for you. And if you're where you are, that's the gratitude to have in life. So gratitude and alignment and values are all very important when we're achieving great things. So, Michael, my friend, come on in.
Right, right. Um, so Nick just said something there that kind of laces exactly into what I was going to mention. And after, nearly 20 years in business and a lot of it spent in the marketing space, one of the little skills slash gifts I've been able to polish and uncover is real clarity of what the real problem is. So if we can't identify the real problem, it's really hard to fix it. And one of my first businesses was actually in the holistic health space for dogs and cats. And so we quite often are dealing with surface problems, topical issues, right? But those are all representative of something going on deep inside that poor animal. And if we don't cure that, it's like you can put whatever cream you want on that rash, my friend. It is coming back 6 weeks from now. It ain't going away because what's causing it is inside. And we talked a little bit about briefly here about the idea of you know weakness. And as a man, to me, it's never been about weakness, to be honest, guys. It's been about fear.
Yeah.
Right? I get scared of being judged. I get scared of making mistakes. I get scared of moving the wrong direction. And so I don't know how other people feel, but when we use the term weakness, I'm like, I've never felt weak, but I have felt scared. And I think that the weakness shows up. You appear to be weak, but what's actually happening is you're scared. And if we don't identify that it's fear holding you back, not weakness, I think we're administering medicine for the wrong problem. And one of my favorite people of all time is Maya Angelou. God, I love that woman. She's absolutely incredible. And she says that courage has to be the first virtue, because without courage, none of the other virtues matter. And so if any, like if this type of mastermind alliance is to work, and I don't mean to step on Frank's toes or anybody else's here, but so much about it for me, at least personally, is ensuring that we are acting courageously. We're acting courageously. We're not acting in a place where we are scared of how this works. And that's one of the powerful parts of a mastermind is you realize no matter what decision you make today, it can be a today decision and it can go wrong. And there's a group of people that are like, so what? Great. The worst case scenario is you came back here with your toe stubbed, with your tail between your legs. Tom Brady was confident because the worst case scenario, Phil, they just lost the game. That's the worst case scenario. They were already losing 28-3.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of the values of a mastermind for me personally is that you can go out and you can be courageous and there is a place to come back to and go, guys, man, especially when it's a group of men like us, right? There's a level of saying, okay, I don't want to be scared in front of certain people, but I'm okay being scared in certain places because it's like, you guys all get it. Right? Sometimes, and in today's world with social media and how things move and judgment from people who are sitting in their basements watching television and Netflix and hammering away on their phones judging you, they haven't moved from that couch in 12 damn days and they can judge you and they have just as big of an opinion as, the most respectful human being on the planet. Why? Because we can all text. It's one message. It's the same weight as everybody else's. And
Wow.
to have courage to pursue the things and get them right today, get them wrong tomorrow, get them right the next day, get them wrong the next, right? Lewis is a fighter. He doesn't land every blow. He misses more times than he hits. When he hits, I'll bet it hurts. But I'm saying it's a fight and you're going to miss more often than you hit, right? Our military guys know that. Anyway, just my 2 cents on that weakness / fear thing.
Love that, Mike. That's so powerful what you were talking about too, that the fear, those 6 fears that Napoleon Hill talks about, the fear of criticism and judgment. I lived that life. I lived in that spot, so nurturing, it's one thing to think about it. It's another to take action. It's 2 different things. And to think about confidence is not confident. We got to take those actions. And from those actions, if you go skiing at the top of the mountain, you're going to get down, right? But you're going to actually do it and you don't have to think about getting down because you've taken this path to get there. If it came to like women in dating, as like the guys are so afraid, especially on social media, to step out and physically talk to a woman who they're interested in. I used to have, I don't want her to know what my ulterior motives are, you know. That doesn't serve anybody, you know. How do I have a social responsibility and a code of respect as a person? That's a very distinct thing. And so many men are lost in that path too. I have a daughter who's 27, and I would love for her to meet a young man who has accountability and really has the courage and really has the confidence in life, you know. And I want to see young men really have the life that they want to be living. And, you know, without going down another path, we had a great group of talkers in the Boston area where he said, she said, we would learn about what are other people thinking. And it was where I talk about a whole wide, diverse ways of thinking. 20 and 40 and 50 people would come together in this polite conversation with everything on the board. And you do that in tolerance and respect of other people because of who they are, but be bold who you are. Don't change because someone else says so. Have it align with your purpose. That's why your purpose, it starts right there, and having that desire to achieve something that's magnificent. Stay with the journey. Rob, come on in.
Yeah, really quick, going back to what Frank said, being able to contribute to the community. So, really quick story. I was at a Jiffy Lube getting my oil changed, and it was the closing day. And these two gentlemen, they were young men, bigger guys, but they were young. And the car behind me, it was closing, so they couldn't take the car. So one of the guys says, "Well, I guess I got to go tell this guy that we're closing." And then the other guy goes, "Well, what if he says he wants to?" And I saw them doing this dance back and forth, and I was like, "Hey, go tell him you're closing. You got this." So they're like, "Nah." No, and then I found myself talking these guys into getting motivated to go tell this guy that they're closing. And these are big young men, and it's just, you know, in Napoleon Hill, it talks about a shift, a change, something's coming. I mean, from here, we can start communicating, starting a shift where we can. Oh, it's the end of my day to a little clerk. Well, it's actually the beginning of your day. Take advantage of it. You're going to get off. Just find those areas where you can instill some of that into, our fellow human being. I think that's our purpose here. So I think this is great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, again, it's how we look at things, right? The perspective. And one of the biggest, I think it was Sadhguru is the person's name, is a spiritual teacher. Students were asking him, what is the biggest evil in the world? And ignorance. Ignorance is what we don't have an awareness of. How do we grow our awareness? When we come together in a group that has our back. When we come to a group, we don't have to feel criticized or less than. And at the same time, we don't show up as being more than the rest of the group or thinking anyone's below us. Confidence is, to me, I like to look at confidence as I won't meet somebody who has a better leadership or a better skill or a better ability to talk to people. And the humility is I won't meet somebody who I'm better than either. That person who's homeless or the person who's struggling, it doesn't make them a worse person. It's just a matter of how are we thinking. And those thoughts lead to our feelings, and that leads to the habits. Having the discipline to do the habits, and that's really where our results will show, because of the habits being the actions, not just what we think or not just what we feel. Control our mind. Don't let our mind control us. We are flying through this hour, and we are going so quick. Frank,
Yeah.
bring it in for a landing, and then
I got my hand up to bring it in for a landing. We're at the top of the hour. We've had a couple of people who had to drop off. Hey, look, I just wanted to say this, guys. Uh, we all have, Napoleon Hill talks about your inner self. It's the other self. So there's the self that everybody sees that we put out there. That's the vessel that we go through this world in. There goes that thumbs up thing. I must say fantastic things. I got images showing up on my camera. Uh, but we all have something inside of us. And I think Michael's really shared probably the most important, most impactful message today. What are we afraid of? And we don't do things because we're afraid. And yes, we're afraid of criticism and we're afraid of poverty. Napoleon Hill says those are the two biggest fears in our lives. But what's the worst that could happen if you put out your very best that's inside that inner self, that other self that we all carry, that we wake up in the morning, we got these thoughts, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And we got all this aggressiveness inside of us. And then we walk out into the world and we're fearful of criticism, of making a misstep, of unintentionally hurting someone's feelings. Leadership and respect. If we treat everyone with courtesy and respect in anything we do, what's the worst that could happen? Just think about that as we close up today. Look, next week we're talking about applied faith. I'm not sure who our leader in the room is going to be yet. I'll talk to my coaches in the room. If anybody else would like to volunteer, I'd certainly play. But each one of you received digital copies of the Science of Personal Achievement, also the Action Guide and Journal. If you don't have it, if you deleted the email by accident, just send me a message. I'll send them out to you. That's doing the work. Showing up here every Tuesday is not discipline. Reading the book, doing the workbook in the journal, in the action guide, that's discipline. And putting what we're doing here in this room into action to change somebody's world. I don't know whose world is going to change. It could be any one of us. It could be someone else out there who catches us speaking about the science of success. And I'll close with this. When I started with Napoleon Hill Institute, I was really concerned about what people would think about this guy who's running around talking about Napoleon Hill, Napoleon Hill, Napoleon Hill, the 17 Keys to Success, the Master Key, all these things, all these books. And it's been 2 years now. I'm proud of the fact that I'm studying the science of success. I'm proud of the fact that I can help people with the materials that we can study. And that's why I've chosen for this mastermind to be our foundational principles. So just go out there. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Look at what you want to be. Make 2026 your best year ever and have an impact on your life, your family's life, and your community. All right. That's all I got, guys. Thanks for joining us. Phil, thanks. Great job today leading the group. Michael, love it. And all you guys, love all the input that you gave. Kip, it was good seeing you. I didn't hear from you. Next time you better be speaking, brother. All right. Catch y'all later. Rob, good
Love
seeing
it all,
you.
you guys.
Take
I'm
care.
thinking that
See
song
you
by the
guys.
Foo Fighters, Let's Fly.
Let's fly.
See you later, Jen. Have a good
All
day,
right.
Jen.
See you later, guys. Have a great week.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
all.